You're probably pleased to find out that your students have an assignment to do in class, whether it's projects. What if you thought your project is a PowerPoint? That's why I call this special. That's why I call this special. Give me a break. Called PowerPoints and Bull. I'm going to tell you what to look out for when you see someone presenting a PowerPoint, plus some additional tips. I couldn't make this full screen, but because of copyright, I don't want to do it. So for demonstration purposes, this right here, ladies and gentlemen, see this right here? See this piece of shit? This right here is a PowerPoint. This right here is an introduction to a PowerPoint. This is what you show up. It's like a book. You gotta have a title, who wrote the PowerPoint, and if you want to add, if you want to kick the PowerPoint a notch and add some music, you can. It's all up to you. Next is your introduction. You should always have an introduction whenever you're making a PowerPoint. See it right there? That's an introduction. So whenever you have an introduction, whenever you make a PowerPoint, you should always have an introduction and a title. That's what you always have. A title and an introduction. Plus the theme. And there are plenty of themes out there. When you're using PowerPoint, you got to pick the right theme, because if you're using a different type of kind of PowerPoint, like if you use Microsoft PowerPoint 2007, it's not going to have this. You got to have the right system. If you don't have the right system, you got to update your system. Like this is PowerPoint 2013. This is PowerPoint 2015. And plus, during this, you should also have something like this, your early life. You should also have some facts. If you want to copy and paste, let me tell you something. If you want to copy and paste, that's good, but you got to cite your source afterwards. We don't want to have any plagiarism going around. Same thing goes from here. You got to have your source where you got it. I'm the king of these PowerPoints. So why I'm telling you this is because without PowerPoints, we won't even know. Next up is the videos. Like I said before, you got to have the right system when it comes to these videos. Last but not least, thought your introduction, thought your outro, like this. Like this. And these videos, let me tell you something. Like this. Like that. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about the people who present PowerPoints, how people should and how people present it, how people don't present it. I'm going to give you some tips on the way. Stay with us. Let's talk about the do's and don'ts of what people do in a PowerPoint. Basically, what people do is this is what the do's and don'ts mean for people who don't do PowerPoint. As a matter of fact, this is what they do whenever PowerPoints happen like that. They like, that's what they do. They send it around this to their kids. Like, today we will talk about Vincent Edward Jackson, or Bo Jackson. That plus Rock Grants coming up. That's what they do. Stand in the middle of this fucking screen like that. That's what pisses me off. Stand in the middle of the fucking screen and say, they can't see. The thing is, this is what they do. They just read something like this. Jackson, 8 to 10 children, was born and raised in Benson, Alabama, was named after Vince Edwards, his one of my favorite actor. That's where they make the mistake. Stick with that. You're not focusing on the subject. You're not focusing on the people. You're focusing on that. That is a big bullshit right there. So that bullshit right here was just blocking the screen. That's a bullshit move. That bullshit move right there was just looking at the screen and not looking at the audience. As a matter of fact, this is what people do. And this is a good thing. This is what they do. Bo Jackson, playing both the NFL and Major League Baseball, recruited by the New York Yankees in high school. That's good. That's really good. Because if you don't know what else to say, the words are right there for you. That's really good. Here's also the other thing. People like argue like who's gonna be like who's gonna like present like people who's gonna be like arguing like who's gonna present this, who and blah blah blah. Like no, you're gonna present this. Like they call it the words. Okay, food poisoning is that's food poisoning right there. You know what food poisoning is? Food poisoning is that. That's not what food poisoning is. You're supposed to read the definition about food poisoning. And this is also a mistake. They sit down and look at the PowerPoint, not focus on the student. Not focus. This is what teachers do. They sit down and focus on the PowerPoint instead of looking at the other students. This is what they be doing. What is food poisoning? Foodborne illness, more commonly referred to as food poisoning, is the result of eating contaminated, spoiled, or toxic food. The most common symptoms of food poisoning include nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. That is the mistake right there. They don't look at the kids, they look at the students. They look at the PowerPoint, they expect everyone to write that down. And presenters. This is a good thing. It happened to me today. I saw it today. Presenters on their phone, not focusing on the next slide right there. See that? That is the next slide. That's a bullshit move. Don't ever do that. Plus, when it comes to this, I'm a king of PowerPoints. I know how to make a PowerPoint. I've done this. I've done PowerPoints years ago. So here's some tips for you. Number one, always look at the audience when you're looking at your slide. Don't be all like looking at the slide. That's that. You pay attention to the audience. Make sure they're paying attention. If you can't follow the script, copy it down on a piece of paper and look at the thing. When part of that, you look at the audience. Just like the best way to prevent food poisoning is to handle is to handle your food safely and to avoid any food that may be unsafe. Some foods are more likely, in a case of food poisoning, are more likely to cause food poisoning because they're programmed, they're produced and prepared. You're supposed to look at your script right there. You look at your script, and then you look at your audience right there, and you'll know that they're paying attention right there. That is the biggest issue right there. You're supposed to pay attention. Number two, don't use your phone while you're presenting the presentation. I know you guys want to get on your phone, but come on, that's not allowed. You have to be upfront with this, not focus on your phone, and make sure that you're presenting the PowerPoint right there. I say do. Also, another thing, when copying and pasting, always cite your source so that you don't steal from other websites and not plagiarize. It may be influence to you, but you have to cite your source, like I did right here. Like I did on my texting class PowerPoint. You always got to you always got to find your source and cite it. Like I did here. Debate.org has opinions. Like this one. Here's people say on debate.org. That's the source right there. You always got to cite your source. You can do that at the end of the PowerPoint, like before you have the introduction. You do a title like sources. You write down where you got your sources from. Insert a hyperlink. Insert a link. And then look at the PowerPoint and be like, okay, this is where I got it from. Also, when finding a video, you got to find a video about the topic. Like this one. I do this because I get them the PSA policies in schooling. What bothers the most from the test? Like, here's this one. Food poisoning in grocery stores. The reason why genetic engineering, the reason why I add this is because I thought food poisoning in grocery stores like genetic engineering. Is that poison? Just listen. Here's a question for you. Here's a question for you. Have you ever been in the grocery store and noticed that the food that you bought in the food that you bought is in genetic engineering? Watch the video in 60 minutes and find out. So, I did. That's a sample. Always keep your source, always keep the stuff you have on the flash drive so that you don't lose it. See that right here? Let me show you my drive. I have all the stuff right here, I have right here on this beautiful flash drive that I had for years. Sorry. And right here, this is where I have it. All this right here. So you always have to keep all your stuff in the flash drives. That's the thing. They think they want to add some music in there, all the music in there, but if you thought you could have add the music in there, shame on you. It should only take you seconds to add music in the PowerPoint. If you don't like the music, well, too bad. It's not going to take me that hard. It took me like a few seconds to find the music and then get on with the PowerPoint. I do Paul Brandt all the time, but sometimes I do like other artists. But if I don't like the song, I gotta stick with it. It's like this: you get what you get, don't throw a fit. It's like that. If you want to add music, go ahead, but don't bullshit on it like, hey, this is the song. And another thing, whenever you present a slideshow, put the music down to a low volume. Let me tell you. You have the music at high levels that all they hear is the music, not your voice. So what you gotta do is turn down the music. You always gotta turn down the music so that that they can hear you present. That they hear less music and more presenting. So I guess that's it. I guess that's it for the tips. If you want more additional tips, I'll throw some at you tomorrow. You want more additional tips? You want more additional tips? You want more additional tips? Additional tips? Please feel free to look up how to present a PowerPoint. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the people who watch the PowerPoint and what they do. That made me say, give me a break. But for now, that's going to be it for part 1, so stay tuned for part 2 tomorrow, which what we're going to talk about is the people who watch the PowerPoint and don't care. I'm talking about the people who are on the phones, playing with those fidget spinners, which I'll talk about which I'll talk about on Friday. We're going to talk about the fidget spinners. All that and more coming out tomorrow, so to follow this playlist, go to the link in the description below where I talk about all kinds of subjects. Food safety, food poisoning, school lunches, etc. Cards, credit card frauds, whatever. I'm always there to help you out. And what made me say give me a break all the time. So go to the link in the description below, check out the playlist, and you feel free, and if these tips helped you, they helped me also. I'll be back tomorrow to teach you all about PowerPoints. For all of us at YouTube, all around the world, all around the country. Good night.